Hello, everyone.
1, 2.
We are about to start. Give us a couple of seconds so everybody is seated in the in the room here at Impact Hub Athens. Please, everyone, have a seat so we can start.
Okay, thank you. Welcome, everyone, to Impact Hub Athens. It's our 8th cluster meeting of the Remedies project, entitled Building Synergies for Healthier Seas and Waters Across the Mediterranean Region. And it's co-organized by the National Institute of Chemistry, Slovenia, Sanitary Engineering Laboratory of National Technical University, Athens, and Impact Hub Athens, as part of the 8th General Assembly of Remedies projects. This cluster meeting serves as a platform for critical dialogue on the challenges addressed by the mission oceans and waters, bringing together research, policy, and practice around our shared goal, protecting Mediterranean seas and inland waters from pollution. So far, through 7 cluster meetings, we have collected more than 20 hours of these dialogues through different countries, from Morocco, Albania, Slovenia, Greece, Greece over today, Italy, and we will today hear from distinguished speakers and experts, and also from the European Commission, to exchange on regional knowledge and identify actionable strategies to accelerate progress toward healthier aquatic ecosystem in the Mediterranean and beyond. So, without further ado, let's start with welcome speeches. I give the floor to Daphne Argyropoulou from NTUA to share a few words.
Thank you, Uros. So, hello all. I would like to welcome everyone on behalf of the Sanitary Engineering Laboratory of the National Technical University of Athens to the 8th REMEDIES cluster meeting. Thanks to everyone who responded to our invitation. I would like to welcome the speakers, the panel members, and everyone else participating online or in person today. So yeah, I hope we have some fruitful discussions today. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Daphne. Let me introduce myself. So I'm Uros Novak, I'm coordinator of Remedies project. Today I'm replacing my colleague Vesna, who became sick. So it was last minute change, but nevertheless, I was intended to have this welcome speech. So as a Remedies, we started as a in the first phase of the mission project, Mission Ocean and Waters, in 2022 in December, and we are closing the project in 2026 in December. We operate in 8 demo sites, and through the project we also have open call to associate regions. So we added to the demo also 5 additional regions. Thank you. It's working? Yeah, okay, thank you. Sorry for that. We are built on protecting the Mediterranean Sea as a lighthouse. And we are built in 3 pillars. One is monitoring detection, second one is collection and visualization, and the third one is to prevent and zero waste technologies. Today, we will have a great speaker. First, we will start, as usual, to share common practice projects and see also perspective from the European Commission in the light of the second stage of the mission, because Mission Ocean and Water project has a end date and it's 2030, so we will see what's the plan for that. Finally, we will include with a roundtable with local experts, and looking forward to have a critical dialogue on the situation and what can we do better in the future. So let's go to the first online speaker, Mr. Louis Blanchard from the European Commission. He's a policy officer. Are you there? Violetta, do we have him? Okay, then we will skip and we will continue with Sylvain. Sylvain, you are there, right?
I'm here.
Okay, good. I will give you 10 minutes and to present what you and Smilo, the company that you work for, have achieved. And then I will also ask people online and people here in the audience that can ask questions to you. Please.
Okay, so good to go. So good afternoon, everyone. Kalimera. Unfortunately, I'm here with you just online. I see a very nice setup, and I wish I could have visited the Impact Hub Athens premises. Knowing the team, I'm sure it's very sweet and comfortable and very, good for exchange and all that. But yeah, so hello, dear colleagues and friends. I wish I will work hard to be there on the final conference, just to set the stage. I'm Sylvain Petit, the director of Smilo. For those who don't know me, we are a France-based NGO supporting small islands from around the world in their initiatives and projects towards a more sustainable management of their territories. And throughout our work with small islands, being it in Norway or in the south of France, in Tanzania or in the Philippines, we come across a revolving issue, plastic pollution. And not only we have to deal with it coming from the sea, but also we're dealing with plastic that's being produced and consumed locally. So today, during this brief speech, I'd like to talk about something very simple, yet, as it was taught in Remedies, something transformative. So how the local value chains can become one of the most powerful tools to eliminate plastic pollution in Europe and in the Mediterranean. So we all know here, I think we're well-informed people about the scale of the problem all around Europe and in the southern part of Europe, the pollution is massive, is systemic, and the matter is pretty urgent. Policies are evolving, new technologies are emerging, and that's something we're pushing also. I think we're pushing the boundaries here in Remedies, thanks to our research partners. But there is still often a missing link. Too often, like we focus on the waste management or even the material substitution. But the technical note, so that's what we've been producing in the project, a technical note is stressing out something a bit different. The real challenge is not just what replaces plastic, but is also how we produce, consume, and circulate the materials locally. So this is where the regenerative, zero waste, local value chain come in. So I'm talking about a specific note, which I invite you to go on our website to visit. I was saying to Violetta when we were doing this technical check that I will try to be less boring. I'm not sure it is. So, and to do so, I won't be using PowerPoint. So you have the chance to see my face on a big screen for all those 10 minutes. But if you want to use your phone, you probably are playing with, or a computer, you can go on the smilo.org website, and there is a knowledge hub section, which is under About Us. And here, amongst the technical documents we are sharing with our community, you will find a specific technical note. But let me go back to what's in there, what's to be found, and what is it we've been like reflecting on through the project. So in this note, you'll find not just solutions or alternatives, but more some systematic look at the problem. We're trying to take into account in researching those zero waste local value chains. We're looking into the entire chain locally. So we're talking about sourcing, production, distribution, use, and end of life. And of course, we always have a focus on very local approaches and concrete solution. That's one example one of our partners here in the south of France often uses, but what is a bamboo-made reusable straw produced in Asia worth for a local market here in the Mediterranean? There is a footprint, there is a carbon footprint to the stuff we consume as well, even though they're not plastic. So let's not forget about it. That's also a dimension that was studied inside Remedies with the team of Maribor. So the footprint, the carbon footprints of solutions. And this, I'm saying it from our perspective of working with small islands where those questions are even more crucial. And it's very interesting that we're having this meeting in Greece, which is a very island-oriented country. And so this matter is particularly interesting for us because there is also a context for islands in Europe. There is a new definition of an island law in the making. There was a recent consultation going on online. Just saying this out here, and I think that where Remedies also touches on that specific topic. In the technical load, in this technical load, there is 10 concrete solutions across Europe and the Mediterranean, feeding mostly from examples directly implemented in Remedies. We're talking about edible cutlery to seaweed-based cosmetic capsules. This one is for you, Uroš. Always have to give back to the, to the project leader. But there are reusable systems, materials made from agricultural waste, mycelium, etc. But they have the one thing, so I really invite you to go and check it out. We really dissect those solutions, open up the engine of each of them. But what we find every time, there are some very key and specific characteristics to all those solutions, so that they are local resources, very short supply chains. There is a circular design to it. There is a strong community anchoring. And most importantly, they prevent waste at the source instead of managing it afterwards. So for Remedies, I think this is an essential perspective because the project was built on 3 pillars, and there is monitoring, there is collection, and there is prevention. And the local value chains I'm talking about here and that we've presented in that document are where prevention becomes tangible. And let me wrap up with a few words. Of course, we're talking about here how to do all these experiences. They translated to European policy, single-use plastic directive, etc. But what we're talking here is their implementation on the ground. What I wanted to highlight to wrap up in a key message, if we want to reduce plastic pollution, we need to move from a linear global system to a territorial circular one. Just pushing open doors here. And then let's not forget that many solutions already exist. So the challenge is now to scale them up, make business successful in that field, then work together to replicate them, and never forget to anchor them locally. This is the island working with person talking. This very local anchoring really is important and create perspective and opportunities for local people around those teams rather than new, challenges to deal with. So that's it. Happy to answer questions later on. Ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. Thank you very much to everyone, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you, Sylvain. I will have a question, of course, to you. And it's quite simple one based on your experience. So to contribute to the healthy seas and ocean, it's more important to have a healthy island, or it's opposite? It's healthy seas that it's important to have a healthy island, based on your experience.
It's a nice one. How long? You give me 2 hours for this? What I would say is that
no, just think about pollution and biodiversity, because this go hand in hand, and then climate change. So these three are topic, and we have to have these keywords because it's a.
No, but then the answer must be twofold. We need to have an healthy ocean, definitely. Islands are there on the forefront. They are really, when you think about plastic like that is being washed on shores of beaches all around the Mediterranean and everywhere around the world, most of this waste is coming from far away. And then at the same time, when you have a very touristic island that is like feeding from a very invasive mass tourism, for example, not to point out other sectors, you realize that you also from the island sometimes cutting the branch that feeds you, of the tree that feeds you. So both, we need an healthy island for a more healthy ocean, because the islands can also, having this very inspiring as a territory, it's a very inspiring territory. I think they can really help pave the way for practical solutions, test ground for new technologies, etc. So they're really on the forefront of vulnerability and at the same time of forefront of resilience. So I hope that this answer will satisfy you, Uroš, but I would say both.
Yeah, we are in Greece with a lot of islands. You're from Croatia partly, so with your origin, so islands is something that you have in your blood. Any more questions from the audience for Smilo or for Sylvain? If not, I will thank you. So see you tomorrow at the General Assembly.
Yeah, thank you. I'll stay with you guys, but I will have to leave at 5 o'clock. But thanks for having me, and have a nice meeting, you all.
Okay, bye-bye. So Violetta, can we check if we have Loic with us? Okay, not here yet. Okay, so let's continue with Secure project. So we are Remedies and they are Secure. So they're also a lighthouse project in the Mediterranean. And Dr. Lorenzo Proia, who is the head of the applied ecology at the Global Change Research Team at the Beta Technology Center, where he leads research on aquatic ecology, ecotoxicology, and the impact of the global change on the environmental system. And he is the coordinator of the Secure project, and he will present the project. So you have good 10 minutes, and then we will ask the questions. Thank you. Please continue.
Thank you very much. Do you hear me well?
Yes, and we can see the slide.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much for the invitation to present our project. And sorry to not be able to join you in Athens. So I want to use these 10 minutes in order to briefly introduce you about our project, which is Secure, focused on innovative solution to prevent, reduce, and remediate nutrient pollution along the land, river, sea system in the Mediterranean basin. So our a little bit of framework. Our project is mostly focused on nutrients, but using this holistic approach, considering that there is this huge, strong connection between what happens in lands and what is transported by rivers to the coastal zones, and Mediterranean Sea is a particularly important hotspot of pollution, because the rivers are playing an important role in making this connection from land to sea. So this is a kind of slide of introduction to see that despite covering less than 1% of the world's ocean surface, Mediterranean receives nearly 20% of global marine nutrient inputs and land-based sources, and I'm quite sure that for other contaminants, numbers should be mostly the same. And in our case, we are, of course, focusing on eutrophication because of the requirement of the coal, but I'm quite sure that considering plastic pollution or any other contaminants transported by rivers, we should have a similar picture than this one showed in this slide. So we chart the primary causes of this potential sensitiveness of Mediterranean sea to eutrophication. We have here kind of lists of what's in the different sources possible, but what we are focusing mostly with the Secure project is on sources of nutrients from agricultural activities, so non-point sources of nutrients, and yep.
Lorenzo, we lost.
Hello.
Lorenzo, we lost you.
Hello.
We can hear you very good.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear Lorenzo online. Very good.
Okay.
That's not working.
I guess it's in the room.
Now it's better?
Hi.
Hello?
Hey.
Hello?
Lorenzo, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I can hear you quite clearly. I think there's a problem in the room itself.
Okay, problem in the room. Okay.
Yes, it was in the room. Yeah. But we have it for online, so don't worry, so you can continue.
Shall I continue?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Too fast. So our project is mostly focusing on these two main non-point and punctual sources of nutrients to the rivers and potentially to the coastal zones. And that's why our project is funded under the two ocean and soil missions under this original call, in which we had this joint demonstration of approaches of solution to address nutrient pollution in the Lakescape River Sea system in Mediterranean Basin. So this is the reason why our project is falling under the two soil and ocean missions. In summary, the concept of our project, as mentioned, we are focusing mostly on nutrients coming from agricultural and human sources through soil and through wastewater treatment plant. And our project is demonstrating actually 16 solutions along the land, river, sea continuum, categorized in these three different categories. So we use this prevention, reduction, and remediation categories, in which we have different kind of solutions that are being tested. In the prevention phase, we are focusing mostly on agricultural sources, so on nutrient losses from agriculture. And here we are testing soil management practices, nutrient management practices, and smart farming as the three main category. Then we focus on reduction of nutrients. It means that these are strategy for preventing and reducing nutrients entering in the river catchment, while the first set of solutions in the prevention phase are mostly focusing on trying to replacing mineral fertilizers input or reducing the fertilization, the use of fertilizers, so preventing the entrance of nutrients into the system. In this case is once the nutrients are already there, so particularly in wastewater treatment plant, how we can prevent this amount of pollutants to reach the river and being transported to the sea. And then we have the last category, the remediation strategies, in which we are addressing the elimination of this nutrient excess directly into the aquatic ecosystems. We have 6 demo sites, 2 in Greece, 2 in Italy, and 2 in Spain, in which we are testing these 16 solutions as mentioned before. And this in the web page of our project, you can find solution fact sheets we are prepared in this first 1.5 year of the project. We have this material available online. So if you are more interested in one of these solutions reported in this slide, you can easily check through the link in this slide. And how our project is approaching. Of course, demonstration is a core, is a very important part of our proposal, in which we have this real life validation of nutrient management strategies to reduce nitrogen and phosphorus losses and export to the sea. But we have used the multi-actor and multi-level stakeholder engagement approach. We're using this mainly in the co-definition and regional context and action roadmap. Then our solution will be evaluated through a multi-criteria feasibility assessment. And we will have also activity related with the scale up and stakeholder mobilization, policy uptake, and replication in associated regions through the cascade funding mechanism. Briefly, our methodology in this in the first phase of the project, we have co-defined the context of the territorial units. Territorial units are overlapping with our demos. So our 6 demos are the 6 territorial units in which we have done a co-defining of the context with engaged stakeholder along the quadruple helix through workshops. And from this, we have produced the regional vision papers on the very specific regional nutrient-related problem. Then in work package 2, we are focusing on the demo as itself. Just brief examples of what we are working with tailor-made fertilizers, in this case in Catalonia, in order to reduce the amount of the needs of external inputs of mineral fertilizers in agricultural activities. And so what we have done is make this recovery of nutrients from basically from organic waste, particularly from animal manure. And we have used these recovered nutrients to design tailor-made fertilizers that can satisfy the requirements of the crop. And in this case, we have achieved, or we are achieving, because this is still an ongoing work, a reduction of the inputs through an assessment of the potential application of these fertilizers in the EU regulatory framework. Then in this case, in Greece, we are testing nature-based solutions in wastewater treatment plant, as in this case in the Thessaly Plain demo site, complex combination of nature-based solution and technologies in order to reduce the amount of nutrients, and also applying circular approaches in order to recover part of these nutrients and to use part of this water also to make this water useful for irrigation. So achieving at the same time reducing pollution and reducing the water footprint of the agricultural activities. Then for remediation, this is example of the demo in the Po River Delta in Italy, in which we are using basically plants to buffer the nitrates export in the delta in the drainage channel system, in artificial channels in the lower part of the delta, in which there is an intensive agricultural activity, as by using this Phragmites australis management in the channels, we are demonstrating their potential to reduce of about 80% the nitrate export to the sea. Then what the Secure is also achieving is the multi-criteria evaluation, in which we will have techno-economic assessment. Of course, this will be based on the results of the demos, as well as the social acceptance studies and environmental studies. In the same time, we are making a nutrient budgeting analysis, making the baseline of the different catchments in which we are working, and to understand which can be the real impact of the wide-scale implementation of our solution at catchment scale, in case we could be we can upscale these solutions at a wider scale within the catchment. So this nutrient budgeting analysis is very important for the understanding the overall impacts of our projects. Then we have the work package dedicated to the scale up and preparation of the scale up. This work package has not started yet, but we will have a kind of decision supporting tool in order to support public authorities, policy uptake activity and capacity skill and regional awareness campaign and citizen science. All these activities, of course, will be during the second part of the project. We are almost in the middle of our project execution, in which we are intensively working in the demo site right now to producing results then to be used for the upscaling and assessment. And finally, we have the open call, which is actually under evaluation, in which we will fund 7 projects worth about 100,000 euros each to scaling innovative strategy to tackle nutrient pollution in affected regions. This is a typical mission ocean cascade funding approach, in which public authorities from associated region could apply for this funding in order to replicate or to prepare the ground for for the application of our solution on a wider scale in sensitive regions. And finally, our project is of course a teamwork, in which we have 25 partners distributed, as you see in this slide, in which you have the 6 demos, and also we have some partners which is not directly involved in the demo activities, but is more having this transversal role for the upscale and policy uptake and policy impact of our project. So thank you very much for your attention. I hope that you have fixed the issue in the room about the sound, and that you can hear me well. And if you have any question, I will be more than happy to answer.
Thank you. Now it's working. So so very nice presentation. So I will have like quite general question also as a coordinator of Lighthouse project. We know the effect if we clean our beaches in terms of the plastic pollution, microplastic pollution, we have some positive impact, for example, on the tourism. So because you are dealing with the agricultural sector probably mostly, so what sectors and what is the economical benefits that this kind of remediation measures can provide? Or how you measure it in terms of, okay, understand the pollution, but it's not visible as a plastic, so it's maybe other ways of having the stakeholders to engage it and use it in.
Yeah, in our case, of course, everything is mostly focused on nutrients, on nutrient pollution. But of course, what we have in our project, I didn't have time to mention that one of the activities that we will have in the second phase, it will be preparing the regional scale-up maps and the business cases for the different stakeholders we have engaged, which are not only from the agricultural sector. We have also water authorities and public authorities. Some of them, for example, who have the responsibility of the management of coastal zones in which there is important touristic activity. So the prevention or remediation of potential eutrophication problems, it's also quite directly related with preventing algal blooms in coastal zones or these kind of biological consequences of eutrophication in coastal zones, which are also quite importantly affecting touristic activities, even if it's not directly related with plastic pollution in this case, because it was not our focus, but they can have a strong impact, for example, in the Mar Menor zone, we have an important coastal lagoon, which is eutrophied and in which the activities are very much affected by this recurrent event of fish deaths, massive fish deaths, and all these that are also affecting quite a lot the touristic activity, for example, in this natural area.
Okay, do we have any question online? If yes, please unmute yourself and ask the question, or in the house. No? Then thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you very much.
Good luck with the project.
Thank you.
Let's continue with another project. It's an IPADRIUM project called PREVENT. And George Balaskas, PhD student from the National Center of Scientific Research, Democritus and University of Piraeus, is here with us in person, and he will present our new mind, so AI tools.
Thank you. It's an old picture. There have been some changes. I'm not sure. Okay. Yeah. Yes, I'm here to present the PREVENT project, and specifically what we have done within the project. So, I am from NCSR Democritus, from IIT, and this is some of the work that we have done in our unit in the last few years, and we have been working in a bunch of different projects. But specifically for PREVENT, we have 10 institutions across 7 countries, specifically in the Adriatic and Ionian regions. And we are interested in reducing and creating early warning systems for vulnerable ecosystems. And I'm here to present the work that we have done specifically in NCSR Democritus. So we are working on 5 tools. The mobile application that we want to use for citizen scientists to report on pollution, a web platform that you can use for visualization and to aggregate all the data. Image classification to be able to automatically detect marine litters from imagery, which the end user doesn't really see, but we can see the results in the visualization. A literature assistant that is able to retrieve information from a knowledge base, and then you can talk to it. So think of it something like ChatGPT, but with documents specific to marine litter detection, and a beach litter forecasting model, which is still under development. So this is how the citizen science application works. It has 3 parts. The first part is application for smartphones. It works both on iOS and Android. And it is used by citizen scientists to gather data. So our idea is in coastal areas to employ the tourists that exist and try to get municipalities to give information to the tourists, and then they can download the application, and then you have a lot of people reporting on specific pollution events that can happen. You have an AI analysis and storage web service where the data is transmitted, analyzed, and stored. And then you have the web dashboard, which is what you see, where the gathered data is displayed. You can get real-time data, so when something is uploaded, it instantly shows, and historical data both from literature or previous things that appeared. And you can also upload images from drones, satellites, etc. So if you have other ways to report the data, we can include it. So the application for the smartphones, the one for the citizen scientists, we want to include tourists and locals. It is very easy to use. The only thing that you need to do is download the application, it installs, it's very simple, you just press a button, and then you can upload the images. And the data is securely transmitted to our central server where we process and visualize them, and we notify relevant organizations that have chosen to participate, such as municipalities, with weekly emails. They can choose however, when they want to get the emails. but they get a report, let's say, at the end of the week where it says that, okay, we have this many events, these are the events that the municipalities then can mark as addressed and stuff like that. So this is how the application looks like. You take a picture, it shows you the picture. You can include text, and it also asks you for categories of pollution. So you can say if it is plastic, metal, and more. And yeah, it is prevent marine pollution, as it says over there. You can upload up to, it was 3 pixels, not 4 at a time, and 40 by device, but these are limits that if we need to address, we can change them. You classify, as I said, the pollution type, and also the citizen scientist can also give us clarifying text. So if they also want to mention anything, they can send that, and then we can see it on the dashboard. This is a bit more technical stuff, how the application works. We receive the data, we store them anonymously, but we group them by device, so there's no names, there's not anything like that, just an ID. We analyze the images to verify that it is actually pollution and not someone just sending random images. And we forward the data to the visualization dashboard. This is how the imagery classification works. So we have 2 models. One is the one on the left. It has, it's more limited to what it detects, but very accurately. And then you have the one on the right that can kind of detect everything. So we cross-reference this to make sure that we get as many information as possible. And again, this is the visualization dashboard. It displays the data gathered in real time. So if you upload something now, you refresh the page, it's going to be there. The data is visualized on a map based on the GPS location of the time the photo was taken. You can search by location, dates, pollution types, if it has been addressed, and some other stuff. And you also get a list of, this is the latest data depending on the filters that you put. And again, you can switch views to see historical data from previous dates or from literature, because we're also extracting some literature information and visualizing it on the map. The user can see the photo, and if you are from a municipality, we create accounts for you where you can change let's say, someone goes there, there is something that needs to be addressed, and they can go there, and afterwards they can register it as addressed in our system, so not everything appears. You can see previously addressed areas, data points, and they can also reject them in case they believe that something is outside of their purview. Maybe it's in a different municipality, maybe they don't consider this a problem. And you can see which ones of the pollution sites have been cleaned. Yes, you can also see what kind of text they have entered in the application when it asks you to enter any text if you want to, and what type of pollution is shown what type of leader is shown in the image. And we also have, with different coloring, you can upload satellite data. So we have partners in the program that specialize in satellite data. So they upload and analyze areas. They can upload and analyze areas from specific satellite pictures, and you can visualize it there and see what problems exist. And I think this is everything from me. So if you have any questions, please let me know.
Thank you.
Yes.
Let's have a question from the audience.
I would like to ask if you have any results so far. If you have identified some places like hotspots.
We have only tested this in a couple of places. We have tested it in roads with some participation, and we have also went to the municipality of Veluvachos to try and trace it. It's in Corinth. But we are still in the initial stages, so we haven't reached as many tourists as we would like to start gathering a lot of information. So we are still in this stage, in the development stage and testing. Yes.
Congratulations. Just a second.
Hello, Mr. Velasquez.
Hello.
I would like to ask, this application is connected with another organization, or all this data that you are collect, where is going to get get analysis from scientists, from who is responsible about the analysis of the data that you collect, and if a ministry or the Coast Guard or an NGO or some stakeholders, they are going to take this data and make some events for cleanups, or if it's very serious, let's say a citizen, somebody find oil, spill oil, or pollution on a beach, that can call to a Coast Guard, and after that, all the chain starts to for emergency.
Our main idea is to try and work with municipalities, and we forward pretty much a report every week to the municipality saying that you have these many events. They can also live view it on the website. We do not have any information about the Coast Guard on the application, but that would actually be a good idea. Now that I think about it. So if they see like an oil spill, which is something that's need to be addressed instantly to be able to call it in. But other than that, it falls to municipalities to participate, and then they can look at the event and address it. We do not contact the Coast Guard or anything like that. So it has to fall to the municipality. We just inform them that, okay, this is something that our users, reported.
Okay, there are also two questions online. Are the satellite images used only for land or for sea as well? Are there any innovative remote sensing techniques used? And if so, are you using marine litter model to do so?
The satellite images are from the sea, and it's being rolled out now. And for ML models, we're mostly using YOLO models and segment anything models to be able to figure out what kind of litters exist in the photographs that we receive.
Okay, before we conclude, so I will have one futuristic questions.
Yeah.
Why do we not remove humans from the equation? Why do not send robots to take the pictures or satellites, and then you just automatically also use them to clean it?
Cost, right? Because you're gonna have like a lot of tourists in islands, and downloading an application and using it is free. Then you can report this, you can go to specific areas, you can see which areas, well, the municipalities can figure out which areas they believe are the most crucial ones. But to outsource this to robots, let's say just a DG, and the cost will be enormous. But the tourists are already there.
Robots that will not create waste. Why to collect them? People create waste.
Yeah.
They should take the responsibility of their waste. Robots or slavers, or to do the job somebody else for you. It's not the type of the remedies of Mission Ocean campaigns.
Yeah, I mean,
we try to change people's habits.
The complexity for
not train robots to collect our waste.
Yeah, also the complexity for that and the cost would be enormous, but the tourists are going to be there anyway. So it's good to be able to use them.
Okay, so we are still humanly operated.
Yeah, it's mixed, it's both of them. It's a hybrid thing.
Yeah. Let me find a lot of scientists who wants to be, get an email every week or every day. Here is a pollution, do something. So yeah, it's tricky. Understand? Yeah. Okay. So great job. So let's continue.
Thank you.
With another project called Faros. We have Pablo Reche Garcia, Faros project manager from Plocan, who will present the details of this project. Pablo?
Thank you, Euros.
Okay.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you for inviting Faros once again to share the objectives and progress of this Faros project that has so many things in common with Remedies. So I'm sharing screens now with you. Okay. Can you see full screen? Yeah, thanks. Okay. So Pablo Reche, I'm the project manager of the Pharos project. It's a Horizon Mission project. And it's the motto of this project is to implement nature-based solutions in the Atlantic and Arctic basins. So this project is a 5-year project. It started in September 2024, and it's funded by the European Commission through the Horizon Mission 2023 Oceans 01. And the consortium, it's led by Plocan in the Canary Islands, consortium made out of 24 different partners, including our Greek colleagues of the Impact Hub Athens. And you can see all the partners distributed all across basically the Atlantic basin. But I will show you now that we'll have also some presence in the Arctic basin. So the three main objectives of the Pharos project, as well as with the Horizon mission, is to restore the marine ecosystems, to reduce the ocean pollution and marine litter, and to foster a sustainable blue economy. And we are doing that. We are fulfilling those objectives with these nature-based solutions, with different demos. In Gran Canaria, here, our test site in Plocan, we have this demonstration that is combining an integrated multi-topic aquaculture along with artificial reefs and macroalgal forest. The main goal of this demonstration is to reduce marine pollution, bad marine pollution in the form of nutrients and organic matter that is released by the traditional finfish aquaculture. So for this demonstration, we are setting up, not now, but next year. We are now at the stage of just getting all the permits and approvals to deploy this demonstrative in offshore in the water. So yeah, next year we will install this fish cage, and surrounding the fish cage and downstream the main current, we will place side cultures of seaweed in order to uptake the outflow of nutrients from the fish cage. And we will have also some different invertebrates, abalone and sea cucumbers, also downstream and underneath the fish cage to feed on the plume of byproducts and organic matter, particulated organic matter. So in this way, we will measure upstream the fish cage, the control conditions, and we will see how these environmental conditions of dissolved nutrients as nitrogen, ammonia, and phosphates, how they reduce downstream by the uptake of these other cultures. With artificial reefs, we are aiming to restore the biodiversity by restoring the habitats, creating new habitat opportunities for the native and local species. But also they will have a role in taking or sequestrating carbon by growing corals and other sort of sessile fauna on there. Our second demonstration, it's another integrated multi-trophic aquaculture, but now in Ireland, in a field in southwest Ireland, in Bantry Bay. This demonstration has already started last year, producing results, and we have also concluded the second trial. We have now the results of this second trial, but the first trial results were good. We have some production, and we have another site, IMTA site with no IMTA. It's a control site, so we can compare the results and on the production of the seaweed in the IMTA site next to our salmon farm, and another control site with no salmon, so we can compare each other. And same goals of to reduce the nutrient and organic matter outflow from the nearby salmon farm in this time. And the fourth and the last demonstration is in Ireland. It has nothing to do with pollution reduction, but with the welfare of the ecosystem, and it has it's dealing in the Arctic basin with an invasive species as the pink salmon. So our colleagues of Danish Technical University are installing an automatic device to take samples of environmental DNA. We are helping to the goal of reducing pollution, marine pollution, not only through these demonstratives, but also through the living labs. Living labs, I think you are related to this term, places of co-creation between the academia, citizens, governments, and the industry. And in Faroes Creek, we are setting up living labs, not only in the demo sites, besides the demonstration in the Canary Islands, Ireland, and Iceland, but also in what we call the other replication sites. There will be, well, they are already running some of them in the Danube Delta, Santorini Archipelago in Greece, Azores, Madeira, and Cape Verde. Within the living labs, there are different programs. We have a program of citizen science with the Minka tool for citizens to upload and contribute to findings of biodiversity, but also of findings of pollution and marine litter that is being washed up ashore. So people can geolocate those findings in this open web tool. We have another program of MPA managers in which we are developing an application to help marine protected area managers to have information to decide on to better decide how to manage those marine areas. Another program with dealing with ocean literacy with the Blue Schools, bringing primary and secondary schools to the European network of Blue Schools to raise awareness between the next generations. And the last two programs, the Fisher Guardians and Litter Entrepreneur programs that I highlighted in red, they are directly dealing with marine litter. In the Fisher Guardians, we are engaging with fishermen communities in those all 8 living labs. And we are implementing different solutions. In all living labs, our partners of CIMAR, they will be delivering awareness action, tackling and framing what the problem with marine plastic, and especially marine plastic that is being produced by discarded and lost fishing gear. And in the Canary Islands, we are applying 2 other actions to this Fisher Guardian program. One of them is giving away training fishermen on how to use acoustic tags, or well, it could be on another analogous technology in order to be able to track and to reduce the loss of fishing gears by storms or any other reason. So we will be delivering this technology to them to prevent the reduce of this fishing gear, and in so to introduce more marine plastic into the environment. And the third action of the Fisher Guardian program, it's the picture on the right-hand side in the corner. You can see a couple of rubbish bins that we have already installed in a port in Gran Canaria, in the port of San Cristobal, where since last November, we have already collected approximately around 300 kilos of discarded nets that they have entered, they will soon enter the recycle cycle, local cycle, to produce pellets that they will be later utilized to be recycled into different utilities and goods. And the last program of the stakeholder engagement in those living labs, it's the Litter Entrepreneur program led by our colleagues of IHA, in which apart from delivering a series of webinars in which I think we are already halfway. There are 8 webinars, and they have already presented 4 of them, framing the problem and bringing solutions to not only to reduce money litter, but also to make a solution, a profit out of it, helping local communities. And now we have finalized the registration progress, the registration phase for the hackathon that is happening mid-May, a few weeks time. So with this, we have this expected impacts of Pharos. We are, as we can say, we are only beginning this project. Results are starting to be gathered, but there are a lot of work still ahead. And our impacts are to demonstrate through the demo sites these scalable nature-based solutions, but also to create replication plans with roadmaps and business models for the replication sites, and to support the European Union Green Deal objectives by fostering the sustainable blue economies. Thank you.
Thank you, Pablo. Do we have any question online or in the room? No. I don't see it. So if I forgot something, just turn the mic on and speak. So I will have a question.
Sorry, Urus.
Okay.
I see one question in the chat by Thanos Esmanis.
Okay. I will read. I also see it. Okay. I will read it. Is Pharos in close synergy with Aquawind, a multi-use prototype combining offshore renewable energy and aquaculture? Would have been interesting to see a triple multi-use.
Yeah. Yes, Thanos. Pharos is working very close and tight with Aquawind. Actually, we are in Plocan. We are coordinators of the Pharos project, but we are also partners in Aquawind. And Aquawind, well, it's just finalizing. Actually, tomorrow is the final event. Aquawind demonstration has also been tested in the Plocan's test site in the same multi-user space of Plocan. So it's been a great baseline to start from for Pharos, not only dealing with permits, but also on how to do the day-by-day, the daily operations that we will do from next year on. In Pharos, we are not dealing with renewable energy directly as a goal, but this IMTA, this integrated multi-trophic aquaculture in Gran Canaria, it will be using also renewable energy in the form of solar panels. So in this way, we can feed, but also monitor the fish cage behavior and how the biodiversity is populating the artificial reefs and the macroalgae forest by using this renewable energy of solar, with solar panels.
Okay. Thank you, Pablo.
Thank you.
We continue with Dr. Tomi Vlahogiani. If someone is very huge fan of Remedies Cluster Meetings, maybe you remember she was with us at the 4 cluster meeting at the round table. I remember. So yeah. So this is why we have these 20 hours of recording. So this time you will present your own project. There you are an expert on the microplastic pollution. So please, the floor is yours.
So good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Urus and the National Institute of Chemistry of the Republic of Slovenia and the National Technical University of Athens for inviting me. So can I have my slides? And thank you all for taking the time to listen to us here today. But somehow I cannot get to my... okay, great. So for those who are not familiar with MIO, we are the Federation of Environmental NGOs. We have 136 members from all over the Mediterranean working on environment and sustainable development issues in the region. And over the years, we have been involved in a large number of projects. Here are indicatively some of the projects that I have been working personally. And obviously, I could present any of these projects, but I decided to focus on Miramar. This is one of our latest projects, and I thought that it was rather relevant to the focus of this meeting. So in a nutshell, Miramar is an Interreg Euromed project. It has been up and running for about a year. And the title, the Miramar, stands for Monitoring Cumulative Impact to Guide Mitigation and Restoration in the Mediterranean Region. And in fact, for those of you who have known us, and actually there shouldn't be this triangle there in black, but anyway, I don't know why the image is not displayed. Miramar is the natural evolution of two projects, the Plastic Buses CAP and the Plastic Buses MPAs. These were projects that focused on marine litter and marine plastic pollution, and they have been running since 2016. They ended up a year ago. And the important part of these projects were that these had been labeled by the Union for the Mediterranean. So they had the political support of the 43 countries of Europe and the Mediterranean. And we managed to secure funding for the Miramar project, which enlarged the scope and focus, not only to deal with plastic pollution, but with other pressures as well. So in fact, the challenge of the Miramar project is to improve our understanding and response to combined effects of different environmental pressures in the Mediterranean. And we will do that in 3 different types of pilot areas. And these are either seagrass meadows, wetlands, and habitats of endangered species. And our main lines of action are clustered in 3 different work packages. The first one has to do with the identification and synthesis of existing knowledge. So Remedies is one of the projects that we have also identified, either in terms of monitoring approaches, but also in terms of prevention and mitigation solutions. And all these solutions, there is a long catalog of projects that have been implemented not only in the Mediterranean, but also at European regional seas, have been used on the one hand, to identify what's out there, and on the other side, to establish the preconditions required to adapt these experiences and these results and apply them in the pilot areas. The second cluster of activities deals with the implementation of pilot monitoring actions, and I will come back to that in my next slides. And the third component has to do with leveraging the monitoring protocols and the outcomes of this study work in order to identify mitigation and restoration solutions in the pilot areas. And when it comes to the monitoring approach, this is a scheme that represents the different marine matrices that we will study. So we will sample seawater, sea sediments, sea biota, including seagrass. A large number of pressures will be assessed, and this includes legacy contaminants like metals and PCBs. It includes macro and micro litter. It includes emerging contaminants like pharmaceuticals and PFAS. And also climate change effects, noise pollution, and some other pressures like light pollution. And of course, all these pressures will be associated and linked and correlated with potential impacts on biodiversity. And in that respect, different types of biota will be deployed to do that. And the approach to be followed will be to study biomarkers. For example, biomarkers of oxidative stress like catalase or superoxide dismutase, or for example, biomarkers related to lipid peroxidation or damage to DNA. Coming back to the living labs, which were mentioned by the previous speaker, this is also for our project very central. And the idea here is to actually involve different types of stakeholders, including our associated partners who represent different local and regional authorities, non-governmental organizations in the pilot areas, business representatives, and so on and so forth. And the idea is to set up 2 editions of living labs in the 9 pilot areas, and there to use the, let's say, research results in order then to identify and prioritize the different types of solutions that should be applied to deal with the different pressures in the study areas. And of course, obviously, because this is a Euromed project, we need to come up with an extract of the lessons learned and to ensure that this entire experience is replicable and can be upscaled in the wider region. So for us, the living labs are quite important in the sense that we would like to co-create and co-define the different solutions, and we are based on the principles of inclusivity and representation, transparency and trust building, shared ownership, evidence-based action, local relevance and adaptability, long-term perspective beyond the scope of the project, and of course considering that the local communities are active agents of change. And this is the list of our partners. The project is being led by the University of Siena in Italy, and the partnership comes from different countries of the northern Mediterranean basin, like Spain, Italy, Albania, Croatia, France, and of course Greece. And you can see here the different types of pilot areas that will be used in order to test, because this is a testing project, the comprehensive monitoring approach that we have been elaborating. So in fact, last week, these photos are from last week, we were in Croatia, in Rovinj, where we were having our steering committee meeting and partnership meeting, and we have been elaborating our pilot monitoring testing master plan with a huge number of samples that will be collected from these 9 pilot areas, and who is doing what. Okay, it proved to be a quite complicated exercise, but we're very confident that at the end of the day, it will yield the expected results. So this is where we are. We haven't gone that far in terms of progress, because we have 2 and something years to go. But we're very optimistic that we will be able to deliver something that can be of use in the region. So that's all from me, nothing more. I hope I didn't tire you or exhaust you or anything.
I have a question.
Okay.
It's a bit of a complex one, so.
Oh.
But you're an expert. You can follow it, because we are missing something, about the policy, and you're an expert. And also the project results usually can lead to some policy changes. So the question is complex in the way that I read the news yesterday that California has now the law how can then put a traffic fine to the self-driving vehicles that's going back to robots or technologies that pollutes. But I will skip that. So I will ask you about this AI monitoring and recognition tools.
Mm-hmm.
Can this be applicable in the law, and how and why?
Of course, I don't know. I'm not the relevant person to ask this kind of question, but I would assume that they can be. Okay, but we have nothing to do in the Mirapar project.
So what the steps will be? So if people will start using this massively, they will have pictures out here outside, and in the 1 minute it's already on the web page, and municipality or scientists are aware about the pollution.
Okay.
So what can be the policy out of that?
Well, actually, can I respond perhaps from because I like practical examples, as you know me, from the plastic pollution showcase and story? Well, from what we have seen so far, these technologies are not robust yet. Okay, even though a lot of people claim that they're robust, claim that they can deliver the moon and the sky, they're not. And I like to be a party spoiler, so you can kill me afterwards. So since these approaches are not yet there, it will be quite difficult to, at least for certain fields, to have implications in terms of policy or in terms of polluter pays or whatever. Only when these approaches will be mature enough to, not be questioned by anyone, and there could be implications. Okay. I don't know if I answered your question, but it's not
I think this
perhaps
will be
for me to
continued
answer.
round table, but this is what we try to engage in remedies, because we figure it out. There is 681 solution in the mission implementation platform like we hear it today. So a lot of them, and more than 1,000 charter signatures that we have to do something. We will see now what this will implicate in the regulations. There are some intents, but usually Commission said the scientists have the word to. But now we are in AI world, so basically, if I talk to the people there, when experts in that said in 3 years, this will be so advanced that politicians will believe only that. Yeah. But let's stop here.
Yes. No, I just wanted to say that just because there are some hypes out there in terms of robots, AI, whatever, I will go back to something that was mentioned around here, that let's first implement the low-hanging fruits, and start from the people who are actually generating the problems. And there are a lot of solutions that we could implement before we start thinking about artificial intelligence doing something about that. So.
Okay. Question?
Yes, please. Thank you. The question is for you. For this incredible work you have presented to us. I would like to ask if your activities include also entangled animals that you find in the sea during these activities or not? And how do you handle the species that you find, if there are other steps that you...
You mean like bycatch of biota? No, actually, we're not gonna really focus on that because we have actually focused quite a lot on this topic in previous projects. So marine litter, marine plastic pollution is a small activity within the overall scope of the project because we couldn't, we really love this topic and we included it, but it's not so pioneering these days. So it's more about combining different protocols, different approaches to come up with then a cumulative assessment of the multiple stressors effects in the Mediterranean. So this is the heart or the main focus of this project.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too.
Let's continue with our final project presentation for today. It's CardioMed project. Thank you. Presented by Professor Kostas Notsopoulos. I hope I presented correctly, from National Technical University of Athens. He's a professor with 30 years of experience. So I will put my question before you speak, and I hope you will try to answer it. So my question will be, are we in these 30 years coming closer to reverse the pollution or understanding the pollution, or it's getting worse because of the GDP increase? And thank you.
Yeah. First of all, hi all. Nice seeing you again, guys. I'm very sorry not being able to be in person today, but I'm currently recovering from a viral infection, so I must join virtually. But in any case, I will start from the answering your question, Uros. The answer is one word, definitely. 30 years are a lot, so you shouldn't be optimist saying that after 30 years there is an evolution. There is a definite evolution. I would say that in the last 20 years, the evolution is tremendous, understanding the pollution and how it evolves and the mechanisms. Okay, now as a technical manager of CardioMed project, I will try to give you a short insight of our project. Let me start saying that, first of all, CardioMed is a EU mission project focusing in the Mediterranean area, and that's why we're here with this, which, as you all know, is a biodiverse and a culturally diverse geographical region for which the establishment of a nature-positive economy and a climate-resilient society is always a challenge for all of us. So, as you know, while nature-based solutions are globally recognized as appropriate solutions to tackle, to support climate change adaptation, their social receptivity by governments, by professionals, by communities remains low. And that's always a problem. And in this context, for us. And in this context, the vision of our project is to instigate the systemic transformation to climate resilience in the Mediterranean region by unifying and mainstreaming the initiatives addressing climate adaptation and mitigation through NDS and other engineering infrastructure. Now, to realize this vision in our project, we recognize the importance of integrating innovation across marketing disciplines, structuring the project on 4 pillars: digital tools, building socioeconomic resilience, developing water, energy, food, ecosystems nexus assessment tools, and of course, and I will focus on this, providing appropriate evidence on how the NBS can tackle critical challenges through demonstrators. In this sense, if we can see an overview of the project, as in numbers, I would say that we have developed, most of them have been developed, almost more than 30 different types of nature-based solutions in the project through more than 80 interventions. Actually, we have 18 locations where we have demo cases across 10 European regions. All in all, I would say that a quite large network of 9 clusters of demonstrators have been developed, covering the whole spectrum, of landscapes, starting from the natural zone, going to rural, suburban, urban zone, and even going to the industrial zone. All these demos have been developed in Greece, in Italy, in France, in Portugal, in Spain, in Cyprus, in Turkey. And I will try in the next few minutes to give you a short insight in all these demos. Okay, I cannot be very detailed, as you can understand, but I will try just to, to say some words for each of them. And let me say first that almost all of these demonstrators have been finalized, almost all. We have a couple of them that are in the final stage of construction. And let me start from the first. The first of demos refers to the Aegean island. This cluster of demo has been implemented in 3 islands: Lesbos, Mykonos, and Sifnos Island. The aim is the valorization of non-conventional water loops on Aegean islands. I will start from the implementations in Lesbos Island. Here, what we are doing is we're taking the wastewater from the local community, and this wastewater is being treated in a cascade configuration consisted in series of anaerobic treatment in the form of 2 USB reactors, where the wastewater is being pre-treated, and at the same time we recover biogas. Biogas is produced and is being collected and used. After being pre-treated, wastewater then is being fed in a series of vertical flow constructed wetlands, saturated and unsaturated ones, and finally it's being disinfected through UV. Now, the treated wastewater fully complies with the EU limits, for Class A. And the way we are doing this, we are treating the wastewater. We're trying to keep most of the nutrients in the reclaimed water, in the treated water. And why are doing this? In order to actually not perform irrigation, but rather fertigation, which is useful in order to avoid, using commercial fertilizers for conventional cultivation. So the treated wastewater now is used to fertigate through agroforestry systems of a total surface area of 1 hectare, consisting of wide diversity of trees, shrubs, aromatic plants, and annual crops. You can see here some photos. Let me tell you that every year all these plots are being fertigated by treated wastewater. We produce more than 10 tons of products, agricultural products. Now, moving to the Mykonos case, here we have 2 locations where we perform rainwater harvesting. We have in the first location a subsurface rainwater collection system, and in the second one we have a residential rainwater harvesting system integrated with bioswale and with aquifer recharge. The whole notion here is to collect rainwater during the dry period, to perform artificial recharge, and during the wet period, and during the dry period to use this this water collected rainwater for toilet flushing and for irrigation of some lavender plots. Sorry. Now, in the case of Sipnos Island, we have a network of more than 100 traditional stone weirs that have already been constructed. You can see a couple of photos here. The whole point is to reduce flood risk, to enrich the aquifer, to provide water for agricultural use, and to improve locally the biodiversity. The implementations here, the developments have been co-created. Now moving to the second demonstrator. The second demonstrator is centered in a copper tube industry, Greek industry, and it's centered on smart water management. Here, the aim is to recover rainwater, to recover storm water and wastewater, and to reutilize them after treatment in other industrial processes like cooling, cleaning, and cleaning of storage areas. So we have here we have developed bioswale for rainwater collection and biofiltration systems. You can see here a wastewater biofiltration system, and these are the plans, the drawings of implementation. They are about to be finalized at the end of the month, this demo. Going now to moving in demo 3, this is being implemented in Sardinia Island in Italy. The concept is the overall objective, I would say, is the decarbonization of agricultural practices. What we're doing here is we're doing quaternary treatment of wastewater, and then the treated wastewater are being used to irrigate crop-rotated plots. From there, the agricultural runoff water is being diverted to a free surface constructed wetland, and then we promote aquaculture and at the same time microalgae cultivation. On the other hand, from the other plot, the agricultural runoff water passes through a riparian buffer before being disposed in the river. Now, in the case of Catania, now we have the Sicily Island, where we have 2 demos. In Catania, we focus in retrofitting of rain gardens and draining a road surface along the main avenue of the city here. This is a very tedious work, I should say. This is about to be finalized next month, and the aim is to improve infiltration of rainwater, contributing to flood peak reduction and delay. In the south of the Sicily, in Ferla, we have green walls. Here you can, in a primary school, this is a primary school. This is the wall, how was it before? And here you can see the living wall, the green wall, where we actually collect the grey water. The grey water of the school is being treated in this green wall, and then is being collected and used for toilet flushing and irrigation. Moving to the French side, here we have 2 solutions in 2 universities. Have solutions in 2 universities in Saint Jerome and Saint Charles in Marseille metropolitan area. The main NBSs that have been developed here is the urban sealing, the microforest development, the green roofing, and the vegetated pergolas. You can see here some photos how the place was before in the surrounding of the university, and how is after performing unsealing and microforesting. You can see a nice picture here of the university. We have the demonstrators in Zaragoza. In Zaragoza, we have 2 demonstrators. One demonstrator has to do with the forest manager, and here has to do with the MISTEL-2 monitoring and interventions for the biomass valorization there. While the second one has to do with interventions in schools, in primary schools, in 2 primary schools in Zaragoza, to tackle against the heat wave effect. In this demo, we are about to finalize the installation of vegetated pergolas and other facilities in order to cope with heatwave resilience. Moving now to Portugal, in Alentejo, the big issue there is the cultural landscape restoration. We are developing a riparian buffer and habitat restorations. We care about, we were monitoring about invasive species. And here you can see some plans regarding the riparian buffer and the Montado restoration in the central Alentejo area. We have a large project in Turkey, in Izmir. It has to do with the Gediz River Delta. The big issue there is the lagoon restoration, but the activities are a lot. This is a larger project. It goes beyond Cardimet. It's a national project of the region there. One of the key implementations is a diversion channel, which will collect treated wastewater and will boost restoration of the lagoon. And there are a lot of co-creative activities in the area, in this demo. And finally, but not least, we have the Cypriot demos. We have a series of interventions there. I will start from a demo cases which focuses in groundwater treatment, utilizing microalgae. We have performed this SEL-NTUA work also, I should say. We have performed a tedious experimental work in order to upscale to a full scale here. The main issue here is to treat the groundwater in order to decrease salinity, hardness, nitrate, and sulfate through microalgae treatment. While we have also a series of green walls and other green activities in order to reuse, to collect water and reuse it in order to develop community parks in Nicosia and to boost food production. I will stop here because I know there are a lot. You can follow our website if you want more information, and of course, I'm at your disposal. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Can you just share with me how many partners and what's the budget of this project? Because it's 10
yeah, the total number of partners are 53, and the total budget is around 22 million.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
A question.
And believe me, it's not the easiest thing to be the coordinator or the technical manager of this project.
I understand. Yeah, but the solution will come, and maybe if someone else question, no. My second question will be, what is after? So, as a coordinator to coordinator, so what do you see the impact should be visible, and what should be the next steps? New project, or more like groundwork with the people or with the communities on that to be transferable?
Yeah. That's a nice question. I should start saying that our main goal is to perform all the assessment on a regional basis, not on a demo basis. So this is the big, objective that we have. I don't know how it will end, if we will be successful in doing, at the regional, all the assessment at the regional level, honestly. The upscaling process and the upscale exercise is very tedious, I should say, for all the cases. It could be easier if it could be focused in one or two, but we will see. What is the next day? Okay, there are multiple ways of somebody seeing, the next day, especially when working in so, huge, consortium. I believe that the take-home conclusions will be so many. So I'm not really ready to say a lot about that. But what I can say that I am optimistic that even if 70% of our ambition will come up, we'll be very likely to continue, working at the regional basis, because that's what the society is asking for.
Yeah, we have earth, fire, water. So water is important. So I think we are we are promoting this as a mission ocean, but it's all about the water at the end, you know.
So the question would be, which of these solutions you find more practical and viable after the project for the local communities? There were so many different, but subsequently you have evaluated them and you have been monitoring them, and you found also the maturity level for social adoption. So to this direction.
Yeah, thank you for the question. Frankly, this is a very nice question, and I would say that we have a series. I didn't have the time to explain and to present the horizontal activities. We have horizontal activities dealing with especially this question. So I should say that, yeah, I have a very good command of all the demos. And I would say that all the demos have, different demos have different context. There are other demos, you know, focusing on wastewater, which are for, let's say, larger implementations, while there are other demos focusing in schools or focusing in universities or either focusing in industries that are maybe easier to perform or easier to be engaged or replicated. So I can't really say, you know, there isn't any definite answer on this, but it has to do with the context. But let me tell you that in the transferability workshop that we'll be having with a lot of interested parties, we have, let's say, some champions already on board, which are honestly the easiest to implement solutions.
Okay, thank you. Another question?
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kostas, for this very interesting presentation. I have a question, which is a question for all projects. My question is, after the end of the project, who will be responsible to operate all these demo sites? Who is going to take the thread from you? And what is will be the cost for these authorities to operate all these interventions?
Thank you, Evina, for the question.
So, you know, it's just to answer from my perspective, you know, everything is written in the grant agreement. So how long will be planned, how much money we'll spend it. Afterwards, we have to do our best that this is implemented. So that's the story in the project. So because no one can check after 5 years project is end if this is delivered or asked. This is current state of that. But we believe, yeah, we have done from Mykonos, for example, Antonios, he's in multiple projects and it's continuation because usually all these projects from today built on previous experience. So we're not starting from scratch in multiple times. So this is then also the case, how the coordinators choose the demo sites and so on. And then always is something new, probably. But maybe Kostas and also Antonios raise the hand.
Uros, if I can say a word, I believe that, Evina, this is honestly, this is not always, you know, obvious. And for me, at least from my experience, in some cases, it's a gray area. At least for Cadimed, I would say that we are lucky because we have stakeholders and we have the regions in almost all who are very interested, you know, to continue the work. But when it comes to budget, I would say that the discussion starts being more difficult. We've been asked from all of our partners, you know, what will be after, and you know, the easiest, not the easiest, the most, the better answer, the best answer, sorry, is what Uros said. There is only one way, just, you know, to take this demo and, you know, go in another project in order to continue to upgrade and make it better. There are some problems, I would say, and we have invested a lot of money, a lot of budget, of our budget in our team, you know, to keep the project, our demo cases alive in the between of the projects. But yeah, it's always a thing, to think about it. It's not so easy.
From my side, because as a demo site leader in the island of Mykonos, we try to exploitate all this data that we have and also all this experience that we have from the demos. And from what we see when we do meetings or events or we go to conferences and we speak with stakeholders or with other people that are interested on our solutions, is that they want to bring to their islands, that they are arid areas, solutions that they are not very consumable in the electricity, because these NBS systems, they work, the most of them, with physics, with the gravity, and try to decrease the amount of water that they collect and also the amount of electricity they consume. So one of my recent experiences is that in the island of Rhodes, I have two people that they were interested to do in the island of Karpathos, one of the rainwater harvesting system in order to make an agrotouristic investment, and we are in contact with them. And the other one is from a firefighting agency, their firefighting academy, that they want to make in the island of Rhodes some lagoons that they are going to collect water during the winter and use it during the summer period that they have the problem with the fires. Except that we make another demo in the island in Attica region, that it was the only solution that we have to collect water. There was not water in the aquifer with drills. It was not system with pumps or with municipal water to use. And the only way to collect water, it was this system, the bioswale and the rainwater harvesting system, that we found solution on this. But as a demo site leader, I'm trying now the last 6 years to work on this and collect data, because the most important is that you collect data and maybe other partners in other projects, they want to use it for their labs or for the analysis that they're doing in the future. Thank you.
Just you gave me a nice example, and it's like in the review meetings as a coordinator, we always ask, and also in the proposals, what is your innovation action, not the business action, which in some cases should be okay. We have a good starting point. Let's do business more than innovate again and again and again. So this is something that sometimes we wrote in the project as a part of the task. For example, in Mykonos, we put the humidifier. It's not an innovation. It's just that we bring these perceptions of the prevention of using plastic bottles. So this is the way how we try to mitigate. But it's a good question, and if you're in the position as me and Kostas and others here, yeah, it's a game we play, and always we try to be successful, supply more projects, so we stay this game alive. So with that, I will give the floor to my colleague from Impact Hub Athens, Dimitris, to chair the round table.
Thank you. A round of applause for all the previous presentations and for Euros. A warm welcome also from my side. I'm Dimitris Kokinakis. I'm from the team of Impact Hub Athens. In Impact Hub Athens, we say that we build communities for impact. We do it actually. We are very proud to see after almost 3.5, 4 years of the project that we built a community of water allies. This is what we were saying at the beginning, that we create a movement that is not only connected around intentions, but is based on collaborations. So I'm happy to see that people who are participating in the activities of Remedies, they come back and they present again, more results, more impact, but also collaborators that we see how we can connect its own actions in order to have a more systemic impact. So with the Impact Hub Athens, we are part of the Remedies. Our role is to disseminate, communicate, and build a community around the topic of the ocean. And the topic of this cluster meeting is collective action for healthier seas and waters. When we were designing the cluster meetings, the intention was exactly this, like how we can bring together the research, policy, innovation, and also community representatives in order to address collectively the challenge of ocean pollution. In order to be based a little bit on data, as we said before, based on Copernicus findings on the state of the ocean, the report number 9, the Mediterranean basin is a biodiversity hotspot, but also a place that is facing most of the challenges and cumulative pressures, like from plastic pollution and chemical contaminants to climate-related stress factors. It's reported that in 2023, the Mediterranean faced the longest marine heat wave that was recorded in the past 40 years. And this is not just a fact, it's not data, it calls us for urgent action, I would say. But because in Remedies also, we don't want to act out of urgency and fear, but to act out of good intention for a healthier ocean. We see that it's a unique time to see how we can work collectively. So what is the case with the Mediterranean, if I could say, is that the challenges, they are very complex. In the Mediterranean basin, we are a lot of countries, there is a lot of different cultural and economic activity. So one sector cannot solve the challenge. Science identifies usually the problem, but cannot implement solution at its own. Policy can regulate, but usually struggles with enforcement, adoption, or coordination. Finance can enable scale, but requires more viable and structured projects. And citizens play a big role, a vital role, but they need to be meaningful, engaged, and collaborated with other scientific or market data. So it's not a one-off participation. So for that reason, we created a panel for today's cluster meeting. Also, as I said, we are quite later in our stage, so we're not talking about intentions, we're talking about results and solutions. So we invited representatives from different sectors to come on stage and answer back to us some questions. We will have 1 hour from now. So this panel is not to understand the problem again, but is to see how we can translate this growing body of change makers into coordinated and scalable solutions. So I would like to invite all our panelists to come on stage. I will not sit here because I will not be able. Okay. So Christina, Evina, Konstantinos, and Vasilis, please come on stage. Yorgos is online with us. So in order to set the scene, we will talk about the urgency of pollution. So I would like from Christina Zeri from HCMR to set the tone. I will start with the second question. We have prepared you with some questions, but of course, in the live sessions, things change, as you know. So we might evolve a little bit the questions that we have created. So in order to start with, I would like to have your statement on how we can use scientific and monitoring data and to better use them in order to inform our actions for the pollution. So we heard that we have AI, we have solutions, we have technologies, how this can inform better our decisions and actions.
Thank you, and thank you, Dimitris, for the question. Thanks for having me here in this panel, all the Remedies group. So about the question, we know now that we are in the third cycle of official monitoring in Europe for the Marine Strategy Framework Directive and the fourth cycle of the Water Framework Directive. So we have acquired a substantial amount of data in relation to chemicals, pollution, plastics, and all the issues we monitor, all the contaminants. And there are also several regulations in place. We have the European strategy for the zero pollution, the targets. So in the highest level, we do have regulations and targets. So what is needed now is to concentrate on the measures that we need to take, the solutions that we are discussing here, and how monitoring that data can be connected in more detail to specific solutions so that we can check on the efficiency and the efficacy of these measures. And I would like to add here that these solutions, in most cases, do not come from high-level policies. So we need to mobilize and engage national authorities, local actors, to have the same vision about the healthy Mediterranean. This is something that, for example, the Mission Ocean aims to achieve within the broader society. And having the same vision, then concentrate on specific measures, tailor-made measures, and consult data on their efficiency.
Super. One case is accessibility, as I understand now. So, like, there are a lot of data. We generate a lot of data, but usually either they are not accessible or they are not targeted in specific challenges or organization. Is there tools already in these regulations that you mentioned that they facilitate this gap? Or who plays this role at the end? Who is the matchmaker?
There are European databases. We have the databases, the repositories of data, but the thing is that it is difficult to seek data from there. But we also have data products that come out. We also have the Mercator Ocean that you mentioned. We have approaches like the digital twin, where we try to connect the actual data of the environment, the scientific data, with technologies, with authorities, with the needs of the society, with the needs of the communities. These are not fully implemented at the moment, but this is the idea. It's very challenging. At the same time, again, the local communities need to have a better understanding of scientific data. I don't know how this will happen.
Yes, we will see for the solutions. We have representatives from the civic society movements and organizations that they are more organized also. I will come back to this topic. I would like to introduce also Evina Gavalaki. Welcome, a civic and environmental engineer in NTUA, correct? Yes. Yes, and also in the project advisory support agreement of the European Investment Bank. One other topic apart from accessibility and data is finance. Usually whenever we say, like, money moves the world for sure, but we have heard many times that money is not an issue. Money exists, no? So the question for you is like, who funds these cases and what are the ocean initiatives can look at in order to attract money that they can secure them long-term sustainability and not one-off actions?
So thank you for inviting me to this very interesting meeting. I was really happy to see all these interventions, all these initiatives, small scale, medium scale, large scale, not large, but okay, applications that you study and all the research from the teams. I would say that financing of large projects is an interesting issue. There are different financing channels, but what has to be ensured is the financial sustainability of the project. So the first thing that a project has to have in order to be financed has to prove that it's financially sustainable. It has to prove that the project is affordable to the users. So it's very important for you as researchers, of course, to study and all these demonstration applications, but scaling up is also very important. I also heard from the presentations that scaling up is one of the tasks of the project. So it's very important when you study an intervention and when you go to scaling up to see what are the finances, because both the capital cost and also the operational cost are very important aspects that need to be identified. So financing comes from different channels. We have EU financing, which targets mainly traditional projects, wastewater treatment plants, or interventions like natural-based solutions, larger scale applications. So EU funds is one, I would say, channel for financing, but it has to be eligible for funding a project. For example, a project has to be connected to an EU policy or an EU initiative. So it's important to link your research with the EU policy. We have the Urban Wastewater Treatment Directive recast now in front of us. So any intervention or any research that is done for chemical pollution, for quaternary treatment, has to be linked to this policy document in order to be eligible for funding from EU funds, the cohesion policy funds. This is one way to fund a project. Another way could be national funding. There are national funds that could support more innovative actions. For example, in Greece, there is a green fund, the Prasino Tamio Green Fund, which could support more innovative actions and less infrastructure let's say, projects. Of course, the own funds of the beneficiaries of the water authorities could also be used to fund this type of projects. But at least in Greece, this is a rare case. There are no own funds from these beneficiaries, from water authorities. When it comes to private investors or the banks, well, the issue is more challenging because private investors have more strict rules, have very compact legal framework. They have strict rules. They need to know who will be the beneficiary and whether the beneficiary is capable of preparing, implementing, and monitoring and operating this project. So it will be more difficult to attract funds from banks or private investors.
Super. Also, regarding the financing at the moment, is that we are looking for scale. We are looking for more systemic changes, and the more the money out there is needing more organized structures. That usually investors also, they need a plan of repayment, or they need shares in their solutions. So how do you feel that we close this gap between the larger financial institutions, but also the possibility of a lot of smaller teams that they cannot have necessarily a business model but they are addressing the challenge of ocean pollution, continue do their work or even scale up?
Well, the challenge is when financing a project, I could say that could be categorized in four groups. These are economic challenges, institutional challenges, financing challenges, and also technical challenges. So from the economic perspective, it has to be ensured that these projects can recover their cost. Because in many cases we see weak revenue models. Many projects cannot revenue the cost. So this is something that could restrict the funding. Well, at the same time, of course, the needs are much bigger than the available funding. So you need to have prioritization of what you have to do. So there is need for a strategic planning, and in many cases, there is no such strategic planning from the central governments or the central ministries. So this is also a big challenge for financing. I could say also that due to the limitations of funding, the projects have to be prioritized. So, of course, priorities are not the same for everybody. So this is also something that has to be addressed. What is the prioritization, and whether these projects actually are selected to close a gap for an EU obligation or for a legal framework. So this is something that has to be considered. And from the technical perspective, I would say that the beneficiaries of these projects, they need to have the capacity to prepare and implement these projects. So at least here in Greece, we have a fragmented water sector. We have too many water utilities. They're not all competent to implement these projects. So this is a very big restriction when it comes to the funding opportunities. Okay, so I would say that there is a big challenge there. The beneficiaries have to be supported, of course. You probably know that usually they don't have the staff, or they don't have the capacity or the expertise for all these technical and complex projects, because we're not talking about simple projects, but complex and expensive also projects. That was my question before, because I just wanted to hear that what you study at a research level, this has to pass to a water authority. So a water authority has to adopt this project and also be able to operate it. So that was the sense of my question before.
I think for the European Union, the last years, we see that we passed from the FP7 projects that they were purely research into research and innovation. And now the new round is research, innovation, and implementation together with local authorities or local communities. So it's integrated now in the strategy of it's not enough to research about it, but you need to prototype it, to pilot it, and to implement it or to adopt as well, or to bring into your consortium also a local authority or a civic society organization. I would continue now with Konstantinos Tsoukalas from WWF, Plastics and Waste Officer in WWF Greece, also a collaborator from Remedies from the previous years in the project Adopt a Beach. Like from your perspective, what is the most critical implementation challenges that they are limiting the effective plastic pollution reduction in the Mediterranean? So around these lines that we are discussing at the moment, from your perspective as a civic society organization, where would you identify the gaps? Why we are not as yet there?
Okay, so hello everyone. Thank you very much for having me here in this discussion, and really interesting all the presentations that we see previously. First of all, I would like to stand a little bit in the data question that you did to Christina, and also we talked about that because in WWF, we implement Adopt a Beach project. It's a marine litter monitoring program where we gather a lot of data from citizen scientists. We try to transform them into policy-ready tools, let's say, in order to keep up with the policy developments right now in terms of plastic pollution reduction and, all those things. But we have our data open and accessible to anyone. And this is what I wanted to ask, because everyone, I think a lot of people right now, I don't know if we can do this discussion because it's a round table, but we can make a huge round table, I think. We collect data, but a lot of organizations, they do not share data. So there are a lot of data sets out there that they can be combined, they can be used, and they can be transformed in something bigger, something more, something bigger, in order to create something like, go with the policy situation out there. But I don't know why this is not happening. I don't know why someone keeps the data for his own. So this is the first thing. Now, I think this is one of the gaps that we're facing right now, that we have a lot of data, but we don't transform them into policy-ready tools, let's say. Also, we have a lot of policies right now, especially in the Mediterranean. We have indeed a lot of policies about the reduction of single-use plastics and the single-use plastic leakage in the oceans and things like that. But in some countries, let's talk about Greece, let's say, we don't have a lot of political willingness. So we know that we have laws, but those laws are not implemented. We can see outside, all the single-use plastics that they're supposed to be banned. We can, purchase them right now. We can have them, everywhere in the stores, in the markets, in the coffee places, and things like that. We don't have political willingness. So although there's a law, we don't have, actually a law. In a bigger now, the bigger picture right now, we have a lot of policy events like Barcelona Convention, Global Plastic Treaty, that we can see that all those are, finishing in a not really good manner. Let's say Global Plastic Treaty, okay? It was ended like unorthodox a little bit in 2024. Or Barcelona Convention targets, I'm not sure if they're really met, especially the Barcelona in terms of 2024. And of course, there are also several other things in policy level, like reuse, that we don't adopt them all together. There are a lot of policy issues right now outside that we don't adopt them. It's not a unified policy thing right now. It's like bits and pieces everywhere. And we follow some of them, we follow some other of them. So this is a huge problem. But except from the policy thing, it's also an infrastructure thing. There are several other things that we need to take into consideration. In some places, there are no infrastructures in waste management, plastic collection, and plastic transformation, let's say. Plastic is relatively cheap. We all know that. But, plastic waste management and plastics management, it's something, difficult, expensive, and something that we don't want to mess with that, I think only the 1/3 of single-use plastics of plastic in Europe is, recycled or something like that. So we don't have infrastructure. Also, tourism is another big thing. Tourism and plastic acceleration, let's say, increase. We are talking about Mediterranean, we're talking about a sea that, we have a lot of islands, we talk about projects in the islands, we talk about coastal regions and coastal areas, and plastic pollution that leaks into the sea. I think tourism is one of the big things that we also don't talk a lot, because we have huge amounts of plastic and of single-use plastics, generated, and the problem becomes bigger and expanded. That's why I think that data usage that I started, started answering your question. Data usage produced from citizens, data produced from organizations, NGOs, and things like that, they can be, like a tool in order to, force a little bit policies to, develop or to start happening, let's say.
The truth lies somewhere in between the policy change and the big politicians, that there's not many times the willingness, but also the behavioral change. So many times we are either or, so we don't have like strict policies or regulations or laws that pushes us to or punish the one who is a polluter, but also many times we say that no, it's our culture, we have to change the habits. So it's somewhere in between somehow, like this is the two ends. But I wanted also your opinion on what is the status of acting upon those. Like, how do we convince more people, citizens, companies to act upon these laws or to change their behavior?
Okay, yes. So first of all, let's talk about citizens, okay? Because we work a lot with citizens right now. You educate them, you give them, the materials in order to move forward, collect some data, understand that their participation in those, let's say, citizen science activities or volunteer activities, etc., are really, really meaningful. Science, I think, needs some more hands. There are not too many scientists right now that they can gather all those kind of data and create all those huge data sets. So people, outside are really, really useful to us. So I think this is the first thing that you're going to tell to the citizens outside, that you are useful to us. We need you. We need your help. It's crucial right now. This is the only way that you can do it.
I agree. It's many times a discussion that we have within Remedies that we need more citizens into this, like not only for the KPIs, but how citizens can also produce valid data, like the data that they are coming out of scientists in cleanups, for example, of monitoring. They're very accurate, they're very specific. We can have like near devices to understand the type of plastic that we are finding, but these data, they're not enough. So either we hire robots that they do the job. That is also one of the solutions of Remedies developed in USDA with the university there. But even this solution, in order to learn, it needs people and needs sufficient data in order to learn and be more accurate.
But I think before using the robots, let's gather all the data around and combine them and see what we have right now.
And also open the data. That
Yes,
also I find it
yes.
very interesting as a statement.
Mhm.
I would like also to introduce Yorgos Gourgouletis. He's the founder of Science.me. He's with
Hello.
us
Hello. No,
online.
I'm online. Sorry, I apologize for not being there. I'm Volos for digital twin inspection. So it's a complete robot system for a complete plant. So apologize for not being among friends and partners and new friends as I'm seeing. Thanks.
Yorgos, thank you for being with us, like with the digital, bringing the digital element in our panel. So I wanted to ask you also how this complex environmental data, because it's not only about having this data open, but it's to be also aggregated or to be aligned, because everybody measures something different. So everybody is using a different protocol. There are common protocols, but harmonization of data is a big topic. So how we can create this data and be more accessible in order to engage more behavioral change among citizens. Like, this is my question, like, we want more citizens science, but how do we do that? What is your take?
Great, great question. About harmonization of the methods, let's agree that microplastics is one big challenge, and we don't have one single method across the laboratories right now, right? So everyone is taking samples and they are measuring microplastics, but they are evaluating methods by partners or papers, so there is no big method right now from the European Commission. So it's a big challenge. So the other challenge is to convince citizens that the scientists is the right ones, not only the influencers. So there is a big sample about PFAS. I know that many of you that you are using Instagram or TikTok, so you may see US influencers that they are taking pans and they are holding this as a very dangerous tool. So simple pan, cooking pan, so that might be destroying the whole life of you, that give you cancer or whatever. It's half of the truth about that, right? So the citizens, they have to understand what is behind of the data. So what PFAS, let's say, PFA, I mean, the forever chemicals. I'm not a fan of forever chemicals as a common word, because we are criticizing a big part of community here in Greece as well, that we are destroying those forever chemicals when we are treating them. So we need somehow to train the citizens that all those keywords like PFAS, PFA, TFA, microplastics, whatever, I mean, it's of course dangerous, they are dangerous, but we have tools to monitoring them and treating them. And apart from that, we have to set up a stage, a digital, a physical, whatever, for all the scientists. This is what we are doing actually in Science Me. So we're giving the stage to the scientists in order to, let's say, present the data as they are in front of the citizens. And the citizens, of course, they are clever, so they will understand the whole truth about that. So I think we did this, let's say, for PFAS 2-3 years so far with all those forever pollutants, let's say. And I think we change somehow how the citizens, they are seeking the truth behind them.
Okay, thank you for this statement. Also, Yorgos, like for sure, like in certain sectors there is a difficulty to harmonize, but also, as it was said also before from Konstantinos, many organizations produce data, but this data, they are not easy to understood also from citizens, or to be valorized and transformed into valid actions. I would like to welcome also Vasilis Sfakianopoulos, the co-founder of Saviorhood, a movement of citizens that emerged in times of crisis, also like from our communities, that a big part of it, I think, that is connected now to the water, like moving from the land and getting into the water element, that is also our regulator in temperature, and keeping us alive. Like my question would be, like, based on your experience, because you mainly run community-led actions, what are those key factors that they can turn a citizen into a change maker, that is not a one-off participation into an action, but is a person or an individual that keep being an agent of change? What really makes a behavioral change among us?
Starting our discussion, I want to thank you all for inviting us and inviting this unique panel. Answering your question, you do not need to convince people of joining you. You need to have them think it's their own will that leads to their participation. From our side, during the COVID area, I was fueled with anger, and this anger was transformed into something that led me to take the matter onto my own hands on my neighborhood. That created this movement, not because I invited others, but the others saw me and they joined our team. Then our team grew, and we were communicating them constantly that they can do things on their own too. They can take the matter into their own hands with their own forces. And this thing, in order to do it, you do not need any data. You are seeing the problem on your neighborhood as it is, and you do something about it. So locally, it's really a great way of involving people by acting, not leading by example, but opening the route to others and show them that they can do things too very easily. And then when the number grows, then you can convince them to take things further, to join forces, to more meaningful things, to be citizen scientists too, to collect data, use the data, and then lead to the problems that they cannot solve by their own. Policy issues are everywhere. Things that are out of our hands, but together we can really have the power to change even that.
For initiatives like Saviorhood, how many members we can say now that you have, or
yeah.
how many people are connected with the Saviorhood?
57,000.
57,000. A good partner to disseminate results or to promote. This is in Greece.
It's Greece and Cyprus. Yeah.
So, like, what would you say, like, as a grassroots initiative, like, how would you connect more effectively with research or policy frameworks in order to be able to have like a larger impact in the Mediterranean?
Mm-hmm. Well, every volunteer that keeps on coming to us needs more change, more impact, more things to do. When we present them with the solutions, taking from data, or use them and train them to collect data by themselves, then they're more enthusiastic, more keen on adapting changes, and their thirst really grows onto them. Of course, there's a really thin line between data collecting and having an impact, because not only data collecting works. So volunteers are getting tired of collecting data only, of seeing no real impact, no real change. But it's our, how can I say it, our responsibility to have them see the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Yes, you cleaned this beach now, and this beach will be dirty again really soon. But if we are measuring the amount of litter that we are collecting, and we're fighting the real trouble, the real troublemakers, to fight this thing, then we can see that the flow of new trash is continuously diminishing. So this is data that they need to see in order to have them be more eager to take more steps into the data scientist world.
So we will have another, if I'm not mistaken, we have another 15 to 20 minutes. I would like to ask a question to all of you, and then also the audience and also people online can prepare their questions. So from your expertise and perspective, what would you consider as a missing link between your field of expertise, like you're coming from civic society research, the finance sector, citizen science sectors, what do you consider as the missing link between your field and a field of another person in this panel? Or from people from the audience. Also, it could be from the market, it could be from the industry.
If I may, can start. I think trust is the missing link. We are a grassroots movement. We're grass. We do not live well with trees, with mature forests. Grass does not grow in forests. So this is because of lack of trust. When they see money, when they see big funds, big organizations, when they see that money flows of municipalities coming in, of public bodies, they're too afraid of involving. So I think trust is the word the missing link that we're missing.
No, go. I can maybe rephrase this. I would say communication, yes, among us. For example, I know nothing about how investment and business works, but I have found myself through the projects to consider these issues and try to understand. So I would like to have, colleagues more active and more aware of this scaling up processes, for example.
Well, I would agree with you completely, because I think it's very important, besides communicating all the results between you and your communities, it would be very interesting to communicate the results outside to the real market and see funding opportunities. And you have to demonstrate and prove that what you do can actually be implemented in a larger scale, in a full scale. So this would attract funding, and of course, your work will benefit communities, authorities, not the small, let's say, cluster of researchers.
Okay. Yes, I totally agree with everyone here in this roundtable. I think that a project like Remedies, let's say, brings all those players in the table. Financial sector, citizen science groups, grassroots organizations, bigger organizations, scientists, researchers, etc., etc. But I think, probably in a second phase or in the future, one of the legacies of those kind of projects need to be, addressed from the early beginning on how all those groups are going to communicate and move forward alongside, This is, I think, because I know I can understand Vasilis about the trusting issues. Although we collaborate together, we also collaborate with HCMR. We collaborate with a lot of people here right now. But I think, the most important thing is to understand from the early beginning, what do you want from this relationship, and how are you going to move forward after, the end of a project or.
Yeah, I agree with everyone, I would say. I think, let's say, as my comment on that is that communication and we have to make citizens not only trust us, but somehow build an emotional relationship. So we have to make them feel that what we are talking today for seas, water, whatever, it's not only policy, legislation, funds, whatever. It's about the daily life. And I have to say that we have a really big competitor on that, the traditional media, which once we have a bad news on something, that they spread it all over without, explain something, right? So I think this is what we have to fight against the bad emotions with not only the logical answer, but let's say somehow find a balance between those.
Thank you. For sure, data alone, they cannot make a change. Like data, they create also emotions. Data can become stories. Stories can create as well change. I think it's also the matter of transitioning or having more systemic movements. It needs to pass from all the stages, like for not only for individuals but also for the institutions. I would like to open the floor for questions among the audience. Yes. And if you can share your, because we need to talk on the microphone, your name and your organization and the question.
Hi, I'm Maria from Alchemia Nova Greece, partner of Remedies. We were the leaders of Work Package 3, Prevention of Plastic Waste, and we developed 3 to 4 solutions through this work package, preventing litter on site at source. So all these wonderful concepts and keywords, to my understanding, they conclude to transparency, because this is what connects the information, the collection of data, and why some scientific organizations or environmental, they keep them closed, they don't open, they are not transparent. The same happens also for the business sector, and we see big corporates that they are greenwashing, and there is lack of transparency there. And this ends up to the consumers and the citizens that they do not engage. Why? Because the lack of trust in institutions is because of this gap in clear, consistent communication, and not vague communication about marketing and promotion. Thank you.
Thank you. One more question. Okay. Any more questions from the audience here or online from the chat? Last opportunity for a question. Like just to say also what was said before, that researchers don't need to be business people, or business people don't need to become researchers, and also citizens doesn't need to mean that they are going to sell the solutions outside. It needs everybody to be able to work on their own expertise and be able to collaborate. Uros, one question.
I always have a question prepared, but for the round table here, are the politicians citizens? Because they can influence with their lives, with their behavior, because people are voting for them, and with voting we change the system in a democracy. So are policymakers citizens in your ways, how you're describing now?
I don't understand the question.
Does the policymakers, the prime minister, the ministers, the mayors join your forces, or they just see how many people you gather and then try to through this way see if this will be affecting their position to the reposition to their power again?
Yes. I think we'll have the same point of view here,
Yes.
right?
As many citizens, politicians have their own role in the society. So the question if they're citizens, yes, they're citizens, but with a very specific role in the society. And it depends on their agenda, I guess, if they want to to facilitate if we engage politicians in our activities, yes, we are connected with the people from the ministry. We are connected with people from, I don't know, the government. But here again, communication is fragmented and circumstantial.
We're covered.
No. I think also it's it's according that if you go with the flow and you ride the wave of the political agenda right now in Greece, let's say, and if it's something hype like a huge fire or something like that, and you as an organization you do something like that and try to convince them to adopt it or something like that, probably you will have some chances to have them with you. But it goes with the time and the agenda of the politicians. I don't think we'll have connections with them. Yes, we are getting in touch with them. We send them a lot of things. we are connected with them, but we don't always see that our efforts are going to be adopted by them.
Also, it's a matter of timing many times, that we need to create also our topics that we try to address to make them trendy, or to surface them in the agenda, like, because we see the importance as we go deeper, but many times this is not in their daily agenda. So it's a question also how we get a space into these people, or how we talk their language many times, how we find communication.
Allow me a comment on that,
Yes,
if I may. Okay, so my answer on that is not so simple, but I would say that as a counter question is how many times researchers or scientists, not authorities or organizations, we are giving, and I say we as myself, okay, practical answers to the politicians, because politicians are not one person in every single ministry, there are a group of them, okay? So, and it reminds me a story that the last 2 weeks, we had some researchers that they are claiming that we are expecting a big earthquake in Corinth Gulf, a very dangerous one, without saying every single word of suggestion or whatever. So I think many times the researchers or scientists, as I'm a scientist as well, we may kill our arguments because we are trying to make ourselves somehow as a spot of the truth, and we are missing a detail. There are examples, of course, of meteorologists here in Greece, of victims of clickbait, okay? At the same time, also geologists, because they are fighting each other. So, sorry, that was my comment. No, I'm not to defend anyone, but it's as a counter.
Thank you, Yorgos. Like, just to become realistic and to close this panel as well, I would like from all the panelists like a very quick statement, like fire chat, like a statement of one action that you could realistically you could initiate, or that it could realistically happen in the next 12 months from now to improve the status of the Mediterranean waters. So what would you say, something actionable that you would see happening in the next 12 months? It might be something that you already organize or something that you wish for. The more realistic, the better. 3, 2, 1. Go.
Adoption of reusable laws and schemes and things like that, quick adoption of those kind of laws, in order to...
Something that you are going to do.
Huh?
Something that you are going to do.
Something that we are going to do, or something like that we want to, we want to...
Something that it could happen and you could work towards this direction to do.
Probably
Yes.
this is something that we can work towards this direction, circularity, reusability, and things like that. And, we would like to pursue a little bit things to go to this direction. But I'm not sure if it's going to be happening in the next 12 months. We probably can work on that, but, I don't think that the actions and the decisions are going to be taken. But this is what I hope.
I don't know. It's a difficult question. I know, at HCMR, we are working closely with the Ministry for the Environment, for example. And let's say that in the next 2 months, we have a project to sit down with them and try to describe and implement more effective measures for the marine environment. I hope we will have some impact.
Okay. We are also working very close with the Ministry of Environment and also the Ministry of Finance. So I would say that for the next 12 months, our scope will be to promote the Greco Islands initiative which is a very interesting initiative, and I welcome everybody to look what we're doing there. Many actions are being proposed for small islands. Small islands are defined as islands with less than 3,500 population. So the largest island is Patmos, and the smaller island is, I think, Seirimos. There's a holistic project with different axes of priorities. One of the priorities has to do with waste and the elimination of the use of plastic bottles in the islands.
Closing the tap on 2 to 3 rivers, plastic tap, by mapping them, observing what the problems are, and accompanying the real issues from illegal landfills to problems that citizens are creating constantly in a minimum scale.
Yeah, there are two. Let's say, okay, there are two projects right now. The main one is we are creating a platform that the citizens could track and send data about pollution spots from their city neighborhoods, but mostly about let's say something that is very clear on their eyes about what's going on over there. Those data will be sent to, let's say, 3-4 big research institutes in order to take samples and already measuring them, because we are seeing a missing, let's say, information about PFAS, more or less, let's say, and we are seeing also misinformation about PFAS for both sides. And the other one is that we are taking a big action about Gulf of Corinth in order to communicate with citizens that about pollution spots and what we are going to do with those spots in order how we can clean them, and of course monitoring the whole pollution about the Gulf of Corinth. It's one of let's say the biggest gulfs we have here in Greece, and it's taking a lot of pollution over there.
Thank you, George. What we heard is precious. We have like commitments from our panelists, but also from our side, from Remedies. We have some months left to do our best to contribute to the reduction of pollution in the Mediterranean. Thank you again for your statements, participations, and honesty around these topics. And we are looking forward for more results in the future. A round of applause for everyone. And now for the final remarks, I would like to invite Uros on stage. It's the closing and the opening of our GA. So a lot of things are happening. And like just to let you know that we are having, yes, a picture and also some food and drinks for later as a sneak preview.
Yeah, since this will be forever in eternity online, also AI will learn from it. We have to have a closure. This is why I'm here. As you can see, the mission ocean is quite vast from the topics. No one is expert in everything, but we can coexist, we can build synergies, and this is what it's all about. And also we travel all around the Mediterranean. Now we are in Greece, and we'll listen to the local panelists, the situation. If someone wants to know how was the debate in Albania, in Morocco, on different topic, what are their problems, you can watch our YouTube playlist on the cluster meetings, and you will see we cannot put everything in the same basket. So approach should be individual. This is why we planned for the next stage of the Mission Ocean project, Remedies 5.0, which is built on the smart society. which means we give everyone the opportunity to collaborate and learn from the location that he or she is in. We figured out that, we attract people by doing and believing in the cause which helping the planet. This worked, and this is working all the time. If you're a politician, if you're a scientist, if you're a kid, if you're convincing, and you can do it. What we give, the Remedies 5.0, is a project that will continue after Remedies, and we will continue with the Remedies platform, so it will just be renamed a little bit so that this knowledge will be upgraded also to other sea basins within the Europe. We have another tradition. It's always to also share not just the speakers, but also the audience. So I invite you all to come here. We'll have a picture or the video that is then taking a snapshot for the picture for a presentation. So please come on this little stage. Everyone that is here. So we conclude this business officially. Come. You should be on the camera. See? Ah, Marco.
Populate with women. Within our side, maybe we can put some space. Always.
It's a wrap.